win for sure.
Agreed.
Your boy Chad Mendes got suspended 2 years.
2 years.
Did they ever report what he got suspended for?
Yes.
What is
they
it?
did. I was actually literally just reading about it a minute
Do
ago.
they have to release what the test positive for?
Helwani actually clarified that. Once USADA finishes their education process, I guess once the whole thing is completely finished, they can announce what he tested positive for on their end. They don't have to wait for the fighter. If the process is still technically ongoing, then they can't announce it.
No, I'm asking, do they have to release what they tested positive for? You know what I'm saying? Because in the NFL, it just goes, player suspended for violating performance-enhancing drugs policy. They won't say Molly or it could be anything. Well, because that's what Von Miller got suspended for is Molly. Wes Welker got suspended for Molly. Yeah, he missed like 2 or 3 games, I think. But
I'd have to do a little more research. But as far as Helwani goes, he said that the reason USADA announced what he tested for is because the education process is complete, and that's their protocol.
It makes sense. What is it though?
He got popped for. Let me open up this article real quick.
He was a thick little
I
fella.
have a theory on this.
For GHRP6, also known as growth hormone releasing hexapeptide.
Okay.
So it's not it's not as far over on the spectrum of, I guess, performance enhancers as like an anabolic steroid, but it's not like
Sounds like a precursor.
It's not like it was
for,
like a minor thing either. It's like
no,
somewhere in the middle.
2 years. If you get the full 2 years, that means you're doing some shit.
Yeah.
Full 2 years, they're like, bro, come on.
And of course, we all know that these guys.
Is this your theory right now?
This is my theory.
All right, let's hear this.
Well, first of all, we know that USADA. I don't think it's a mystery to fighters. If it's not a mystery to me, it definitely can't be a mystery to fighters. That USADA is very good at catching people doing drugs. They're pretty damn thorough. They have a lot of resources and a lot of money, and they're catching guys. And so apparently, when you're doing whatever this peptide release hormone thing is, blah blah blah. As a fighter, you gotta know. You got to know you're taking a giant risk, and that means 2 years off, and that means a lot of money, right? I think I know a little bit about human psychology, maybe because I have my own issues with it. I think that is a form of self-sabotage, and I think it's a way of, whether it's subconscious or not, I think people who do that now, when you know how easy it is to get caught, I feel like it's a way to take a break.
I disagree 100%. I don't think you could be more wrong. Because in professional sports, it's so it's just what happens in professional sports. No one's gonna say, because you can take time off. You can literally just take time off. You fake an injury. You don't. But you think about it now. John Jones, Chad Mendes, Brock Lesnar, all these guys getting busted. No one's going, I'm purposely doing this so I get suspended for 2 years and my name gets tarnished for life.
I think it's psychological.
I couldn't disagree anymore.
I think human beings behave.
You think the Olympic athletes, everyone gets busted for steroids?
Well,
self-sabotage.
I think in this particular case, like in UFC, when you know USADA is this thorough and you're still doing performance-enhancing drugs, that is such a risk, and you don't know.
No, but you have people, you have a team going, no, I have a scientist, doctor, whatever.
There's a graveyard, though. In other words,
not really. This is new. This is new. This is all new.
How new is it? Is it that new?
It hasn't been around that long.
Maybe not, but Jesus Christ,
new.
How many people need to fall?
I'm telling you, in this case, you're dead wrong. Because Chad Mendes, and especially the guys who have been getting busted, are all contenders. I can understand if you're a guy on the back nine, like, fuck, man, I need to. Even your career's damaged for life.
Doesn't matter. I don't think that's how.
I'm telling you you're wrong.
Works.
I'm telling you you're wrong.
I don't think I am. I don't think that's how.
So you think John Jones, Brock Lesnar, Chad Mendes, Gilbert Melendez? Think about these guys.
Brock Lesnar's a different story.
So you think John Jones is like, I'm gonna get busted again for this stuff?
I think John Jones has a lot of self-destructive behavior, and that's a classic example of self-destructive.
So you think John was like, I'm gonna do this stuff so I don't have to fight for 2 years and not get paid millions of dollars?
I think psychologically,
and I'm the greatest fighter on earth.
Psychologically, John Jones has a lot of self-destructive behavior that we've seen. Okay, and I don't think people are in control of not only their motives or their psychology a lot of times, and I think this is very common. I've been around performance. I've seen a lot of people perform, and it's all the same mindset. I've seen people destroy their careers in my business when it was so nuts to do.
But they're doing it with alcohol and drugs. These guys are doing it. No, it's completely different.
Behaviors.
Athletes are doing it with performance enhancing to get an edge on the competition inside the octagon.
I'm very aware of that. What I'm saying is that if you're stupid enough at this point And I'm sorry, but it's just either you're
there's more guys getting away with it than getting caught, correct?
I don't know. I'm sure there are.
I'm telling
but
you.
we just know that people are getting from. I mean, let's go through the list: Lyoto Machida, Anderson Silva, Brock Lesnar, Gilbert Melendez. It just keeps going. I don't know how many people.
You're talking about the who's who. You're talking about world
what I'm
champions,
saying.
and you think they're all self-sabotaging, so they get suspended for 2 years,
I'm saying,
and their career gets tainted for the rest of their life.
No. What I'm saying is that when you see these guys getting caught, right? Because they didn't realize how. So there's a graveyard where people didn't know how thorough USADA was, right? So they think they're going to get away with it. If after all that you're getting caught now, if you don't know now that these guys have sensitive enough equipment to detect this, something's going on. What the fuck are you doing? Are you trusting your doctor?
They think, everyone's trusting their doctor who's saying they can get them out of test.
Stupid.
But it's stupid to think these guys are self-sabotaging. To take 2 years off and ruin their careers.
It's either stupid or
That's
it's
insane.
self-destructive behavior.
It's not self-destructive. What they're doing is a doctor's telling them that they can get them past the test. It's been in sports forever.
Sure.
The science is always ahead of the drug testing. There's more guys doing stuff now. They're still doing stuff. And everyone thinks they're the exception. They're not going to get caught.
Well,
Everyone does. That's the way athletes think.
Right.
That's why they're in the UFC. And that's why most guys aren't. Because they think they're the exception.
Yeah,
they're not doing it because they don't want to fight for 2 years.
Oh, I think there's plenty of that kind of behavior. I think
there's
human
not with
beings
those
are that
guys.
way. What are you talking about? We're talking about human psychology. I don't mean those guys. Those guys are guys. You know, there are a lot of people that do this stuff that in the middle of their career, toward the end of their career, after 2 losses, 3 losses, whatever's psychologically going on, people don't want to fight anymore. It's very possible that Chad Mendes. It's very possible psychologically Chad Mendes has a large.
World.
So what?
And loves fighting. It's all he has.
First of all, you don't know that he loves fighting. There are plenty of athletes.
Yes, I do. I know Chad Mendes.
Andre Agassi, in the height of his career, hated tennis. Hated it. There are a lot of
He's
people.
The exception.
No, but
Chad loves fighting and hunting.
There are a lot of people who are athletes at the top of their game.
You're way off.
Who hate doing it.
So they're going to take steroids to get suspended for 2 years
They'll
to
do all
self-sabotage.
kinds of things to sabotage themselves, like do blow and run into a car and hurt a pregnant woman. And
That's
then run
completely
away.
different.
I mean, there are so many examples. It's not different. It's not different at all. It's all behavior that lends itself to you getting.
But when you're in a
excluded from
training
the sport.
camp, when you're in a training camp and you have a doctor telling you they can pass the test to give you an edge over the #1 guy in the world, you're not thinking, if I do get caught, at least I'll get 2 years off.
Oh, well,
because I'm self-sabotaging.
I would be.
That's why you've never been a professional athlete.
Oh, it's the same thing, dude.
It's not, brother.
Being a performer is
one's performance enhancing, hence PEDs.
I understand.
One is alcohol, drugs.
I understand.
Self-sabotage.
I understand. What I'm saying is that if you don't know by now that your doctor and all these other doctors are, not a guarantee, then something's going on.
Well, the juice is worth the squeeze.
It was a
the juice is worth the
decision.
squeeze.
Well, it was
Rock made $12 million test positive. Yeah. Tell him how stupid it is.
If you told me that if I love fighting that much and I'm taking a risk where I could get suspended for 2 years, if I love fighting that much, there's no way I'm going to take that risk. And maybe you're saying I'm not an athlete, so I don't know the mindset.
I'm telling you don't know these fighters. These fighters who got to the UFC by taking risk. And by doing anything possible to get an advantage. And when a doctor says, I can get you to pass this test, I've proven it. I've worked with this guy in the MLB. I've worked with this guy in the NFL. I can pass the test. And you're young, 24, 26, 27, 28 years old, and you have money in the bank. And you're like, fuck, I win this fight, man. I get a title shot next. I get millions of dollars. Sure. Fuck yeah, it's worth the risk. It's not self-sabotage.
Not with Chad, I guess. I don't know Chad.
Not with any of those guys. It's performance enhancing. Anything you can do. If guys are so fragile, if someone said, hey, bro, if you eat, GSP's doing it, Lance Armstrong did it, if you eat this bag of gummy bears before the fight, you're going to perform 1% better. Everyone's eating gummy bears. Yeah. It's not self-sabotage. You just want an advantage at any way possible. Well, that's why it's called performance enhancing.
Whatever USADA's doing, man, Jesus Christ. You're not getting away with it. I don't care what your doctor says.
Guys are still getting away with it. I promise you there's guys getting away with it. There's just certain guys don't have those doctors or the money for it.
Right.
The scientists are always ahead of these tests. There's already guys who've beat it. I guarantee it. It's just the way professional
the science
sports work.
is always going to beat,
Always.
There's always going to be ways to get around it with money involved and stuff like that when there's that much of a desire. And it seems to me that...
Because the rule is it's like the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. Athletes and scientists are the Roadrunner. USADA's Wile E. Coyote always trying to catch up.
Right.
So
so you take a risk.
Yeah, it's professional
you
sports.
kinda
You don't
have
get
to.
there by playing it safe.
Yeah.
No one. You're talking about 1% of the world.
Right.
They're gonna take what?
And it's true. It's you know, it's like Chael was saying. I'm fighting with this guy, and he's not getting tired after round 4 in practice. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I got to do this stuff if I'm going to stay, up with these guys. It's really interesting to see what they're going to have in 5 years. The kind of shit that they're going to be able to do.
Same shit. The scientists are, they're already doing shit
Coming
now.
up with more.
That's how it goes, man. Some guys, that's their job.
2 fucking years. Do you think that's too excessive?
No. How can you get to stop? But I mean, Chad Mendes.
Well, you said because
Chad Mendes will come back and still be on the main card. Like, look at Gilbert Melendez. Tested positive for a steroid, right? Performance-enhancing drug. He's on a huge card in Chicago.
Right. So
Alistair Overeem's been busted how many times? He's fighting for the world title.
Yeah.
So the message, all right, I'll miss 2 years. When I come back, it's all gravy, baby.
Or a year, like you said. Like a year is not a big deal for a lot of guys because
You fight once a year anyways. You
Yeah.
do appearances. It's kind of like
you're getting your
people
name out there.
assume you're
Get
on
your
it.
name out there.
People assume you're on it anyways.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I see. I don't think ban the guy for life. I don't think you can ban him for life. I don't. I wish I had the answers. I don't.
Yeah.
But you just. I don't know what you can do. It's always going to be. And I hate to tell you, if you're a soccer fan, NBA fan, MLB fan, NFL fan,
They're all doing something.
WWE, every single person,
is doing what they can to get an advantage.
every single person.
Yeah.
Hate to tell you.
Yeah, and it's only going to get more advanced. It's not like it's
Nothing's
gonna
gonna
stop.
change.
It's not like Scott. What you're going to do is you're going to have scientists who are more incentivized. It's going to just accelerate the pace of science to come up with things that are undetectable. And
They're already,
and so
they're
it
already
goes.
doing
and
it.
so it goes.
They're already doing it.
Yeah, it's a little bit like trying to stop the drug trade.
There's no bat.
There's that much money involved.